Welcome to Voodoo Whiskey Gaming, and this is my late review of Darksiders, the Warmastered Edition. I played it on the PS4, it's also available on the Xbox One, and you can play the original Darksiders on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. So you may be wondering why this is going up today. Well, because I'm going to be out of town, so I wouldn't be able to, so now it's getting uploaded today, but I'll be back on a normal Tuesday schedule hopefully soon. You also may be wondering why I'm doing this game right now. It's kind of an old game, and it's an HD re-release, but the reason I'm doing it is because, well, the third game is coming out hopefully soon, so I figured I would review the first two. So in Darksiders, you play as War, one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and well, the apocalypse seems to have been triggered, and you are called to Earth. But once you arrive there, things seem to be, weird and not the way they should be at all. Before you know it, War is recalled by the Council, which is this ancient organization basically of overly powerful, not quite deities, I don't know what they are exactly, but beings that can control the four horsemen as well as gods and demons respect them. But they blame War. They claim that he rode early, he triggered the apocalypse when he did not. He was summoned. Eventually, after, I can't remember how long it is, but a very long time, it may be 1,000 years, he is sent back to Earth to try and find out what actually did happen. And that's where the meat of the game really begins. I'm gonna say this, I really liked the writing in this game, I enjoyed the story, I like the characters, I like the way they mix a bunch of different mythos together. I think the way it all comes together is fantastic. On to the audio. This game does a very good job from sound effects to music to voiceover work. I really love the voiceover work. I think they did a fantastic job getting the right voice actors. They've even got Mark Hamill in there, and just everything came together very well. Then you've got the gameplay. The gameplay is almost an open world RPG, but not quite. But it's also very much an action game. It's a good hybridization of all of those, and for me it was really cool because it was like a 3D Metroidvania style game as well. There's a lot of traversing the world, and combat will level up your enemies. But to level up yourself, you have to find items to get more health and more special ability powers and whatnot. There's also currency in the game for buying stuff, like more moves for your weapons, health things, all sorts of different stuff like that. The game does a great job with puzzles as well. Puzzles can span almost an entire zone as necessary, and it doesn't feel as taxing as that might sound. Now the Metroidvania elements are, the further you progress in the game, the further you can explore other areas that you couldn't explore before, getting more upgrades, etc. I generally don't like to draw really close comparisons to other games, but this always felt kinda similar to a Zelda game. I won't say full blown, but similar, which was nice because I don't play a lot of Nintendo, so I get that experience, but on a different console. As for the controls work well. They are not flawless, they're very good though. In combat they worked very well. I didn't have any major problems except for during one specific boss fight. Every now and then my character would kind of just jerk the other way, but that was also because of where the boss was positioned and how he would move, but it didn't always work to my advantage. The only other time I had any control issues were aiming specifically, and it was really only during puzzles. I never had a problem with aiming during combat, specifically because this game does a lot of lock-on even with projectile weapons. Lastly, the graphics. Normally I tout the graphics, but I don't sit there and say, oh man, this is one of the things that really brought me in immediately. But I will say, because the artwork was done by Joe Madureira, I don't know. We're gonna call him Joe and then put his name here. He was the guy who drew the comic book that Battle Chasers, the game, was based on. I've always been a big fan of his artwork. I really like his style. And so the fact that the Darksiders games were his art style, because he is directly involved in them, they were originally his game studio, that for me was a massive draw. And I know that may be silly because I generally say graphics are not the most important thing, but man, I love his work. That being said, this game doesn't really look dated because of the art style that they use, which is nice because, I mean, a game that's trying to look hyper realistic on the PS2 is obviously not going to look as good as a game that's hyper realistic on the PS4. So when you take those cool artistic designs like this, where it looks very much like an action comic book, it's fantastic because then it ages better. And because this is an HD re-release, it looks very crisp and clean. And the amazing thing is, going back and replaying it, I was noticing a lot of small details that I had never noticed before. Things like when you dash through water, the way the water sprays away and sprays behind you, it's really cool. Just a lot of small details that you might not have noticed when it wasn't like full-blown excellent HD. So my overall on this is that I really enjoyed the game. I enjoyed playing it again because yes, I have beaten this in the past, but I loved playing it again. And honestly, I think if you enjoyed the first Darksiders, why not replay that before the third one comes out? It's always nice to go back and do that, and HD re-releases allow you to do that when they do it right. So yes, I recommended this game unless you hate good games, I guess. Okay, so in the comments below, why don't you tell me which is your favorite of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse? And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, and if you like what I'm doing in general, share, subscribe. Have a good one.